Matt and Caryn destroyed by Amy Roloff's stunning comeback. LPBW update. What if I told you that the pumpkins you see lining the aisles of your local grocery store this October are part of a multi-million-dollar empire that has kept a family on reality television for over 2 decades? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something that has fascinated millions of viewers since 2006, the Roloff Farms Pumpkin season. And when I say this is the financial engine that built the Little People, Big World empire, I am not exaggerating one single bit. Let's start with a number that might blow your mind. 60,000 pounds. That's right. In 2025 alone, Jacob Roloff grew 60,000 pounds of pumpkins on that 109-acre property in Helvetia, Oregon. Think about that for a second. That's not just a pumpkin patch, that's an agricultural operation that would make commercial farmers take notice. But here's the thing, this isn't just about pumpkins. This is about a family legacy that has weathered divorces, bitter land disputes, and a reality television empire that finally ended in April 2024. And yet, through all of it, the pumpkin season has remained the one constant, the one tradition that brings this fractured family back together every single fall. Now, before we dive into the 2025 season and what it means for 2026, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel because we are going deep into a story that most entertainment media doesn't have the guts to tell. We're talking about millions of dollars, family betrayals, and a pumpkin festival that has become the financial backbone of an entire family dynasty. When Little People, Big World first premiered on TLC in 2006, nobody, not even Matt Roloff himself, could have predicted what would become of that humble pumpkin patch. The show was supposed to be a heartwarming glimpse into the lives of a little person family running a farm in rural Oregon. But what viewers didn't see behind the cameras was the meticulous business strategy that Matt Roloff was developing year after year. The 109-acre property in Helvetia, Oregon wasn't just a pretty backdrop for television cameras, it was a carefully cultivated business model that combined entertainment, agriculture, and family drama into one irresistible package that kept viewers coming back for more. And at the center of that model was the pumpkin season, a 6-week event from October 3rd to October 26th that transformed the farm into a theme park of fall festivities. Here's what most people don't understand. While the show was being filmed, Matt was building something much bigger than a television program. He was building an experience, the wagon tours, the animal encounters, the storytelling sessions, and of course, the famous pumpkin patches where families could come and pick their own pumpkins straight from the vine. These weren't just activities for the show, they were revenue streams that could sustain the farm long after the cameras stopped rolling. And now that the cameras have indeed stopped rolling, with the series finale airing in April 2024, the pumpkin season has become more important than ever. The 2025 season, a family reunion and a shocking absence. Now let's talk about what happened in 2025 because I promise you, this is where the story gets really interesting. The pumpkin season ran from October 3rd to October 26, 2025, and it looked dramatically different from previous years. First, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the person noticeably absent from the festivities. Caryn Chandler, Matt Roloff's partner of 8 years, was officially absent for the first time in years. For those of you who have followed this family, you know that Caryn had been a fixture at the farm since 2017. She was at Matt's side through pumpkin seasons, through the construction of their new house on the property, through everything. And then, in July 2025, Matt announced their split. Now here's where the rumors get interesting. Sources have claimed that Caryn was the one who wanted out, that she grew tired of not feeling heard and wanted to retire to Arizona, where she's since relocated with her daughter. Matt, on the other hand, wanted to stay on the farm, and this is the part that really gets me. They just built a $1.4 million house together on the property, with special features designed to accommodate Matt as a little person. And now that house sits empty while Caryn is living nearly 1,000 miles away in Arizona. Talk about a dramatic shift in dynamics. For a pumpkin season that was already dealing with the fallout from the show's cancellation, Matt now had to navigate the emotional turmoil of a public breakup while running what is essentially a small theme park. But here's the thing, Matt is nothing if not resilient. He confirmed in August 2025 that pumpkin season would happen, and he promised fans that they would blow your pumpkin head off with new attractions, and true to his word, they delivered. Amy Roloff returns with a Disney twist. Now, here's something you probably didn't expect to hear about. Amy Roloff returned for the 2025 pumpkin season, and she was dressed as a Disney character. Now, this is fascinating for multiple reasons. First, Amy and Matt have had one of the most notoriously contentious divorces in reality television history. The farm has been the source of endless conflict between them, with Matt refusing to sell the property to their twin sons, Zach and Jeremy, which caused a massive rift in the family that we're still seeing the consequences of today. But despite everything, despite the bitter property disputes and the years of tension, there was Amy, decked out in character, mingling with fans, and being part of the pumpkin season magic. Visitors from all over the country came to see her. One visitor wrote, "The staff, including Jacob, his wife, Amy, and Matt, were also welcoming and friendly. Can't wait until next year. It's an absolutely beautiful farm." This is something that really speaks to the power of this tradition. No matter how fractured the family has become, pumpkin season brings them together. It's almost like this shared financial interest. This business that they've all invested so much of themselves into transcends the personal grievances. And then there's the new harvest market idea that Jacob introduced in 2025. For the first time, the farm incorporated a concept where 12 vendors featured unique items like homemade bread and woodworking. And the best part, it was free to walk through. Jacob said they wanted people to come out, and this was a way to test the direction they want to take the farm in. It's a fascinating pivot that suggests the family is thinking about how to keep the farm relevant beyond just the pumpkin season. Jake and Isabel, the new guardians of the legacy. Perhaps the most significant shift we saw in 2025 was Jacob and Isabel's prominent role in running the operation. This is a narrative that deserves serious attention, especially considering the complicated history this family has with the farm. For years, we watched Matt dangle the farm in front of his twin sons, Zach and Jeremy, first suggesting they could buy it, and then ultimately pulling the rug out from under them. The drama was a gold mine for TLC, who exploited it for several seasons. Zach took it particularly hard when Matt decided not to sell a portion of the farm to his sons, and he ended up moving his entire family away. Meanwhile, Jacob, the youngest of the 4 children, has quietly been stepping up. In November 2025, Jacob and Isabel went on TikTok to clear up some major misconceptions about the farm, and let me tell you, what they shared was eye-opening. Isabel stated bluntly, "He didn't get the farm. We live on the property along with Matt, who owns it still. We rent our house, and Jacob works here full-time. I care for the animals." Now, let that sink in for a moment. Jacob, who is 28 years old with a young son named Mateo, who turned 3 in December 2025, lives on the farm as a renter while working full-time. He grows the produce, vegetables, fruit, and of course, those 60,000 pounds of pumpkins. Isabel cares for the animals. They're basically the stewards of the land, keeping the farm alive and operational while Matt continues to own the property. This arrangement is fascinating from a business perspective. Matt essentially has a fully committed live-in management team running the daily operations while he focuses on the bigger picture. Jacob and Isabel have skin in the game, their home, their livelihood, their son's future, all tied to the success of Roloff Farms. And let's be honest, Matt got a pretty sweet deal here. He has his son running the day-to-day operations, his ex-wife making appearances, and his girlfriend's absence probably creating more buzz around the property than anything else could have. Isabel added, Jacob also grows the produce, vegetables, fruit, and this year he grew 60,000 pounds of pumpkins. We hope to keep the farm alive as long as we have anything to do with it. That as long as we have anything to do with it part is significant. It suggests that while Jacob and Isabel are committed to the farm, they recognize that their future on the property isn't guaranteed. Matt still owns the land, and Matt is known for making decisions that upset his family. Welcome back, our deep dive into the Roloff Farms Pumpkin season. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go ahead and click that video because we covered the shocking return of Amy Roloff dressed as a Disney character, the absence of Caryn Chandler for the first time in years, and how Jacob and Isabel have become the new guardians of this 109-acre legacy. But now we're getting into the real meat of this story. The money, the family drama that nearly destroyed everything, and what this pumpkin season actually means for the Roloff empire in 2026. Before we continue, I want to take a quick moment to remind you that this channel thrives because of viewers like you. If you're finding value in this deep dive, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 3. And drop a comment below. Have you ever visited Roloff Farms during pumpkin season? And do you think it's still worth the trip now? I'll be reading every single comment. Let's talk numbers because this is where the story gets really interesting. Pumpkin season isn't just a charming tradition, it's the financial engine that has kept the entire Roloff family afloat for over 3 decades. And I'm not just talking about the money from ticket sales and pumpkin purchases. I'm talking about the hundreds of thousands of dollars generated over a single 6-week period that sustains a 109-acre property with all its maintenance, animal care, and staffing needs throughout the entire year. Think about this. The farm has roughly 30 acres of pumpkins. In 2025 alone, Jacob grew 60,000 pounds of pumpkins. At the farm's prices, which range anywhere from $8 to $20 per pumpkin, depending on size and variety, that's a significant revenue stream. But here's what most people don't realize. The real money doesn't come from the pumpkins themselves. It comes from the experience. The wagon tours, which cost anywhere from $12 to $25 per person depending on the package. The animal feeding experiences, the corn maze, which became a huge attraction in later years. The food vendors, which pay fees to set up on the property. The storytelling sessions with Matt Roloff himself, which are premium priced events. And then there's the merchandise, the t-shirts, the hats, the branded items that people buy as souvenirs. When you have thousands of visitors walking through your gates every single weekend, that merchandise revenue adds up quickly. We're talking about a festival that attracts visitors from all over the country, not just Oregon. People plan their vacations around this event. But the pumpkin season also serves another crucial function. It keeps the farm in the public eye. Even though Little People Big World ended in April 2024, the farm's visibility during October generates social media buzz, media coverage, and keeps the Roloff name relevant. This is invaluable because Matt has been trying to sell the farm for years. Let's rewind for a moment and talk about something that fundamentally changed the family dynamic, the farm sale that never happened. In 2022, Matt listed the farm for $4 million. He claimed he wanted to downsize and move into a smaller home on the property while selling the main house and some of the land. But here's where things got messy. Matt initially offered to sell a portion of the farm to his twin sons, Zach and Jeremy. This wasn't just a casual offer, it was supposed to be the passing of the torch. The next generation taking over the family legacy. Zach was particularly interested. He had grown up on that farm, he had married his wife Tori there, and he had started his own family with hopes that they would one day live on the property too. But then Matt changed his mind. He decided not to sell to the twins, claiming that the offer wasn't right or that the timing wasn't right. The specifics are murky, and everyone involved tells a different version of the story. What we know for certain is that Zach was devastated. He and Tori ended up buying a house in Washington and moving away. Jeremy, who had already settled in Arizona, didn't pursue the purchase as aggressively. The drama surrounding this decision played out on national television. Viewers watched as Zach confronted his father about what he perceived as a betrayal. "You told me I could have the farm," Zach said in one emotional episode. "And then you just took it away." It was painful to watch because it exposed something raw. This wasn't just about land, it was about family, legacy, and a father's promise to his son. And then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get more complicated, the farm failed to sell. That's right, the listing expired and the farm is still on the market in 2026. Meanwhile, Matt had already built his new house on a separate part of the property. So now there's a $1.4 million house sitting empty while Matt lives on the property in a different location. It's a setup that speaks volumes about the dysfunction that has plagued this family. Here's what I find particularly ironic. The farm became the center of so much conflict that it tore the family apart, and yet no one was willing to let it go. Matt wouldn't sell it to his sons, the sons couldn't buy it anyway, and the entire property just sat there, waiting, generating enough revenue through pumpkin season to keep itself afloat, but not enough to create the kind of generational wealth that everyone had hoped for. Now let's talk about how this financial reality played out in 2025. With the show finally off the air and the farm's future uncertain, Matt had to make pumpkin season bigger and better than ever before. And based on what we saw, he delivered. The 2025 season ran from October 3rd to October 26th, and it was packed with activities that kept visitors coming back weekend after weekend. There were wagon tours that took families through the pumpkin patches and around the property. There was storytelling with Matt Roloff, where he shared behind-the-scenes stories from the years of filming the show. There were animals to feed, corn mazes to navigate, and photo opportunities at every turn. But what really set 2025 apart was the introduction of the harvest market concept, which Jacob and Isabel spearheaded. 12 vendors set up shop with unique items like homemade bread and woodworking products. The concept was simple. Anyone could walk through the market for free, which brought more foot traffic to the property and increased the likelihood that visitors would stay longer and spend more money. Jacob spoke about this shift with enthusiasm, saying they wanted to test the direction we want the farm to go in. This is crucial because it suggests that even though Matt still owns the property, Jacob is influencing the farm's strategic direction. He's not just growing pumpkins and maintaining the land. He's thinking about the farm's future, about how to keep it relevant and profitable in the years to come. And let's talk about the pumpkin growing operation itself. Jacob grew 60,000 pounds of pumpkins in 2025. That's not just a hobby, that's serious agricultural production. And Isabel does the animal care, managing the goats, sheep, and other farm animals that visitors interact with during pumpkin season. Together, they're the operational backbone of the farm, doing the work that makes the pumpkin season possible. Now, I need to address something that has been on everyone's mind: the absence of Caryn Chandler from the 2025 pumpkin season. For 8 years, Caryn had been a fixture at Matt's side. She helped run the farm, she was involved in the pumpkin season planning, and she was there for the countless events and media appearances. Her absence in 2025 was noticeable, and it raised a lot of questions. Matt confirmed their split in July 2025, explaining that there was no one specific reason. He said they'd really been struggling for quite a while, and that they wanted different things. Caryn reportedly wanted to retire to Arizona, where her daughter lives, while Matt wanted to stay on the farm. It's a classic tale of two people in different life stages wanting fundamentally different things. But here's what I find interesting. Caryn's absence actually created more buzz around the farm. Visitors were curious, media outlets were speculating, and suddenly, pumpkin season had an extra layer of drama that kept people talking. It's almost as if the split generated more publicity than the entire season would have otherwise. And let's be honest, Matt knows how to work the publicity angle. He's been in the reality television business for nearly 2 decades. He understands that drama sells, and he's not afraid to let his personal life become part of the spectacle. The fact that Caryn wasn't there, that the house they built together is now sitting empty, that he's navigating a very public breakup while running the pumpkin season, all of this is content, and content brings visitors. As we look toward 2026, the pumpkin season is going to face some significant challenges. The farm is still on the market, which means every season could be the last season. Matt has never been particularly transparent about his plans, and there's always the possibility that a buyer could emerge and change everything. But here's what I find fascinating. Jacob and Isabel are putting down roots. They've made it clear that they want to keep the farm alive as long as we have anything to do with it. They're not just working there, they're investing their lives there. Their son Mateo is growing up on that property, and they're building a future there, even though they don't own the land. This creates an interesting dynamic. If the farm does sell, what happens to Jacob and Isabel? They're renters, not owners. Matt could sell the property out from under them, and there wouldn't be much they could do about it. It would be a repeat of what happened with Zach, another Roloff son pushed out of the family legacy. But there's another possibility. Maybe Matt is planning to leave the farm to Jacob. He's always said that he wants to keep the property in the family, and Jacob's involvement suggests that he's being groomed for something bigger. Whether that means inheriting the farm outright or just continuing to manage it remains to be seen. So, why does any of this matter? Why should we care about a pumpkin patch in Oregon when there are bigger problems in the world? Because this story is about something universal. It's about family, legacy, and the struggle to pass something meaningful to the next generation. It's about a father who built an empire and doesn't quite know how to let it go. It's about children who grew up in the shadow of that empire and are fighting for their place in it. And it's about the millions of people who have watched this family's drama unfold on television for years, invested in their stories, and feel a connection to this little farm in Oregon. The pumpkin season is more than just pumpkins. It's the manifestation of everything the Roloff family has built. The successes, the failures, the conflicts, and the reconciliations. Every pumpkin picked, every wagon ride taken, every story told, it all adds up to something that has touched millions of lives. And whether you're a fan of the show or just someone who appreciates a good fall festival, there's something magical about what the Roloffs have created. It's not perfect, and it's not without its problems, but it's real. It's authentic. It's a family trying to hold on to something precious in a world that keeps trying to take it away.